from watching the trailer, I would not have thought that I would have been leaving the theater the way that I did, you know?
So with movies, what is the point of going to see a movie as a human? First episode, I'm stoked.
First episode tonight, podcast too. There's no alcohol tonight though. We're just
yeah, that's true. Night podcast, but we're drinking water. We're staying hydrated. We got work tomorrow.
I have Gatorade. I'm trying to stay extra hydrated.
Ooh,
I'm not trying to drink.
Are you trying to like one up me with that?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, you're drinking water. That's cool. Here, I'm drinking Gatorade.
You're drinking my water. I didn't want to tell you I was drinking Gatorade because then you asked for some.
That is a smart tactic.
I gotta keep it to myself.
Dude's playing chess while we're playing checkers.
Mm-hmm, exactly. I don't even know where to go with that.
You were trying to think of that segue.
I was trying to, but I was like, no, it's not going to happen.
Well, I guess I'll start us off with, we've been opening up some Pokemon packs lately.
We have.
I'm excited to, we have some clips coming that we'll show everybody, but we have some cool decor in the background for our YouTube viewers. So you want to talk a little bit about your addiction?
Oh my gosh, my addiction has gone strong. It's back, guys. It is back. Did I tell you? Oh, I didn't even tell you this. Okay, but yeah, I got really back into Pokemon. For those of y'all that don't know, and actually, we'll leave a link in the video. It should be right here at the bottom of my old channel, the Poke Station.
Dude, yes.
And
we have revamped it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that when I used to buy a bunch of Pokemon cards and collect mainly, but I'd also do a lot of openings and, just film openings, get some pretty fire cards, pretty good stuff. And then I would collect sealed stuff, but then I would also open and then sell the cards back online. Because you do this with sports cards.
Yep.
And it definitely made me money. I definitely made money off of it. It took me a while to even out, just like anyone really, whenever they're starting that off.
Yeah.
It took me a solid, year to really even out. Just because of the price inflation of Pokemon cards and scalpers and everything. Of course, I was one of those scalpers, but not to the extent of, I would only sell individual cards. I didn't want to have to worry about shipping an entire box of something. It was just anything in an envelope that cost me 20 cents to ship.
You were the one looking back that was got me into the buying and selling of cards.
Honestly, I got a lot of people into it. I got into Pokemon. And
I saw your eBay account and I'm like, dude, I want to do that. What do I enjoy?
And then I remember when I got into it, then you started getting stuff. Pokemon, not sports cards at the time, Pokemon cards. And then we had our friend Tyler Howard. He started getting into it. And so then that's why all three of us would be on the videos every once in a while.
Legendary, I think was it your most viewed video on your channel? The opening up the Charizard?
No. My most viewed video was when I was doing the giveaway. And I got 2,000 views.
Dude, I forgot about that. It jumped up overnight.
It jumped up big time.
That was crazy.
And I actually did a pretty successful giveaway. It was fun. That was a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, so fast forward, that was 2020 to 2021. Maybe not even 2021. I think it was just 2020. 2019 to 2020 is when I did that. Because it was during COVID.
It definitely spiraled, but we definitely got some cool stuff coming for everybody with openings, content like that, because we did rebrand a little bit. We can talk about that. We're kind of what was it? Collectibles and what was the other word we threw in there? Culture and collectibles. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to focus on.
You never know on this channel on Spotify. My OCD is acting up again.
This was my next topic as well.
Okay.
We got a little upgrade with Jeffrey. He you know how the Lego movie, there's like dimensions and stuff.
Yeah.
Jeffrey got sent to another dimension.
Yeah, it's a good way of telling the audience that Jeffrey died.
Jeffrey's a Lego now.
He didn't survive. I feel like we should have brought out the other actual Jeffrey Lego, but it's all connected, so it's too too tough to fix. But yeah, I
want y'all to comment your prayer for Jeffrey. We miss him very much.
R.I.P.
If anybody has any sign of Jeffrey, please let us know.
He's gone missing.
We can't find him.
We've set up everything,
but we have Lego Jeffrey.
Lego Jeffrey
in his stead,
and he grew a little bit. He's a grower, not a shower. So good job there, Jeffrey. Keep it up. Okay, keeping it green.
Keep it up, pal. Keep it up, buddy.
Keep it up, buddy. Right here.
I love it.
It's the worst word ever. But yeah, man.
Speaking of culture,
dude, we went to the movies.
Dude, we did.
Dude, Oppenheimer.
Oh my!
I mean, well, we saw Oppenheimer, and then I took Sarah to go see Barbie. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that.
I unfortunately didn't get to see the Barbie movie. I will see it eventually, depending on how this conversation goes with the your honest opinion on it. But let's start with the one we saw.
So one word to describe Oppenheimer. One word. You get one word.
I would say. Oh, that's good.
One word.
I would say uneasy.
Uneasy? Yeah. No, I can see that.
I
can see that.
Is like, I guess I was looking for something a little bit better, but I think that's what it describes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say uplifting.
Whoa, sorry for if y'all heard me drinking the water there. What?
I thought uplifting.
Uplifting. How so? Explain. Because I think mine's pretty self-explanatory, but uplifting for Oppenheimer.
Just seeing like the race to get to where they were to, and major spoilers. There's going to be spoilers throughout this. So
yeah.
So if you skip to the last. If you want to get spoilers on this, then keep watching. You want to get spoilers on Barbie, then skip ahead. But we'll try to keep it as much.
I'm not going to say spoilers.
But this is really just history. So, I mean.
I'm not. Well, yeah, that is true.
It's really just history.
Let's try to keep it to a minimum on the spoilers. But we are going to have to explain some.
We'll have to explain the stuff. And I mean, just the fact, the race to building the bomb. Like the race and the intensity of the movie to kind of just show that race to build the atomic bomb.
Because reading it in a book is different than actually seeing it,
And so, I mean, like we won't talk about I'm not going to talk about scenes, maybe a little bit, but I'm not going to go into detail.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying.
But yeah, I mean, just the race to get there, to building the bomb, like the
how
fear.
So? Like what was the connection to the uplifting aspect?
I'll get there. Don't worry. Like the fear that people were having when it came to if the Russians or the Germans, or it wasn't really Japanese, but the Russians, the Germans building the bomb and beating the US to it, to use it to win the war. Right. And like everything that they had to go through and everything that they were working towards.
It almost felt like if they didn't get it done today, everyone was going to die.
Yeah, exactly. And so it kind of,
that's why I said uneasy though.
I mean, there's a little, it can be a little uneasy, but then it's also like you look at it, because I think you're looking at it more of like in a negative way, in a darker way. Like, hey, if they didn't beat the Russians or the Germans, well, the Germans.
Not even that. I'll explain it in a second.
Then we would just technically, we would still be here, but we would be Russian territory, or we might be German territory. Kind of like that one. There's an Amazon Prime TV show about if Germany actually won World War II.
Oh goodness!
I can't remember what it's called, but I'll probably put it on the screen somewhere right here. But no, just the fact that we won, right, and that we were able to win this, and we were able, like, just the amount of effort that they put into it, right, building that small little town. To keep everyone there and just classified, having to bring all the families with them, taking families away from their normal lifestyle, and all that work that was done is the reason why we're here right now.
That's
right?
true.
And I'm looking at it in more of a wow, like thank goodness for them that they were able to come together, all these scientists, and come together to build, at the time was the strongest bomb. Because isn't the hydrogen bomb more powerful, right, than the atomic bomb?
I think so. I don't know.
I think it was able to cover a larger
but,
square footage.
But yeah, the early A bombs and the early H bombs, the H bomb blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I'm sure there have been more. I mean, we have other bombs now. I don't know what they are exactly. But,
I think.
But I think the uplifting part is just like, it's more like.
There was definitely
because you say unease, right? Was it unease? Right. I feel it as more relief.
I think
that
that's what's so good about the movie.
We were able to do it first.
That's what's so good about the movie is because you can watch that movie and get a different feel. Like has such a weird vibe about it.
Definitely, if the Germans and Russians watch it, they'll get a different feel.
No, exactly. Like it's like, well, no, not even that. It's the lack of a lot of the movie, especially with the Oppenheimer scenes. There was stillness. There wasn't a lot of talking. Mm-hmm. It was just calm. Not a lot. There was just a sense of thinking. Yeah. Of thinking like, okay, we got to get this done, mm-hmm. or there were some pretty dark scenes in it. Like I won't give spoilers, but it was just a very dark. The pacing was slow. Sorry, at some parts the pacing was really slow. Other parts was super fast.
It was super fast and just super intense.
Yeah, so it was like a roller coaster almost. Mm-hmm. How like the roller coaster sometimes it's like super fast and other times it just stops.
One thing
that's I think a good.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to compare.
A good explanation of it.
One thing that would trip me out was just the beginning with just all the lights and all like the.
I love that.
I was like, what am I watching right now? And I was like, is this whole movie gonna be like this?
It was trying to portray the mind of a crazy.
Of a genius,
crazy
basically.
Genius, yeah.
But and then the black and white scenes and stuff like that. So I actually watched
mm-hmm.
a video saying that the director made that choice to do the black and white scenes because the black and white scenes were the ones where they had the most information to where they could be the most historically accurate.
Exactly.
And then the colored scenes were a little bit more on
dramatic.
They were a little more on the
fantasy.
Creative side.
Yeah.
To where they were true, but it was more. They could kind of. They had a little more. It was a little more.
There was also more dialogue.
Liberate.
I don't know that word.
A little more liberation when it came to mm-hmm. constructing those scenes.
The scenes you're talking about, the black and white scenes, it gave you a sense of, like you said, it was really those were the fast paced scenes. Those are the ones with all the dialogue where you probably could read a book of these guys talking and it would be word for word.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the ones that weren't black and white were the scenes of kind of imagination,
mm-hmm.
like trying to maybe using certain documents to help them with the inspiration for the movie, but a lot of those scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to win awards for sure. It's going to win awards. I mean, the star-studded cast was just amazing. I thought the score was amazing.
I love the music from it. That's why the music
was so good. I mean, and it was just,
very low key. It wasn't like over the top music.
Well, I mean, some of it was over the top. Like it was just
besides
intense.
the big scene,
mm-hmm.
and we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god! And I think it's a scene when the
yes,
yeah. Oh my god! Such a good
Star
scene.
Destroyer from Star Wars. You remember the seventh or eighth movie where the Star Destroyer goes through. Or no, a ship goes through the Star Destroyer and it goes just like silent.
Yeah, and just goes silent.
And like it's just like the crazy
That's
lights.
Such a good comparison.
That is the same. Like when I saw that scene in the theaters from the Star Wars movie, I got the same exact feeling from the Oppenheimer bomb
when they show the official test of the final bomb blowing up in New Mexico.
First time they had ever made.
And
they thought the world was going to end.
They thought the world was going to end because there was that idea that the chain reaction would just light the atmosphere on fire and it would just end the world. It would just continue spreading across the whole earth. And I thought it was so funny whenever they were just watching it and just sitting in the desert.
They had like their popcorn and their popcorn
and drinks. They had their sunglasses on. There's what was it? 10,000 meters away, I think was as far as they were.
I don't know the distance.
Or something like that. They mentioned in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching it, and then they saw it, and then all of a sudden, like 20 seconds later, the sound waves.
They couldn't even hear it
until it got to them, and they just all flew back because of that pressure.
Crazy.
And you know what's crazy about that is they didn't really talk about it in the movie, but like the damage that did to the Native American tribes in that area.
Actually,
yeah, because they didn't. I mean, because remember they went to the ranch and they were like, yeah, the Indians are here. You know, the Native Americans are here. You know, they don't bother.
So we took their lands and we bombed.
We basically took their lands and we bombed the Native Americans. But yeah, apparently, like a lot of them,
white people suck.
Bro. A lot of them died from like radiation poisoning because they weren't warned about it. You know, they were just inhabitants of that land.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same idea with like when they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah,
how a lot of people they were like on the outsides of the bomb. Houses got destroyed, but people didn't really get injured, but they died days or weeks, months later because of just the radiation poisoning catching up to them. And so the same thing happened with the Indians.
I think
is wild.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I did cry during the movie, during the scene where he was giving his speech and it was quiet and it was like half cheering, but then it would cut to these scenes of like the people,
when it was just like
victims.
Oh yeah, it wasn't really the victims, it was just the people that he was with, but they were going through that poisoning too.
What? No, that scene, it resembled everyone was cheering, but he was seeing in his brain like all the people that he felt like he killed. Yeah. And so while the whole room was cheering, they were chanting like USA, USA. It would like he would visualize the Japanese people as they're like dying from the nuclear bomb that just went off. Yeah. So there's like a sense of cheering, like, oh, we just did this,
but we also
like the other side of we are all dying. Mm-hmm. And so it was like this. That's why I say uneasy. It was just this gross feeling of like, yay, we won. Yeah, but you just killed like so many people,
thousands.
He didn't feel like that what he did, like, I don't know, was a good thing.
Well, yeah,
he was unsure because there was part of him that was like proud of himself, but another part that was not proud. Mm-hmm. So it was like an inner battle almost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just the whole movie was just like
crazy.
It was 3 hours long. It was a long ass movie, but it didn't really feel like 3 hours. It felt like a long movie.
It felt like 2.5.
But all of a sudden, you know, I was watching and then I'd look at my watch. I'd be like, oh, wow, an hour's already gone by. And then I would watch more and then I'd look back and like, oh, 2 hours already gone by.
I know. Because of how.
And then you look back and you're like, oh, wow, there's only like supposed to be 20 more minutes left. I wonder what they're going to do.
That's why I think the bomb scene was so good, was because of the pacing of the movie. It was so fast, but they did have certain scenes in there that was so slow paced. So it really highlighted it.
Yeah.
It would be like if you're eating, this is a weird example, but you're eating McDonald's every single day the entire week. And then maybe the 8th day, you eat a bowl of cereal. It's going to, better example, like a steak.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, whoa, that was a good steak because you hadn't had it in a long time. So it's like kind of that same effect that you get from those really intense, slow-paced scenes, like the bomb going off, or the intro one with the lights and what's going on in his head, like stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was pretty intense. And then I went to go see Barbie, and that was just that one was just a shitstorm,
a shit show.
Like, I mean, it was a good movie, but it was no Oppenheimer. Like Oppenheimer was just.
I haven't seen Barbie yet, but from what I've heard lots of people's, not spoilers or anything, but explanations of the movie and what they got from it. And a lot of people liked it, but the reasonings they gave made me think I wasn't going to like it.
What were the reasonings? And you can see, because I'm going to give my reasons. I might spoil a couple things for you.
I don't want to speak because I haven't seen the movie. So, but from what I've heard, I just heard it was a lot of hidden messages. Or messages that were trying to be hidden, but were very obvious.
Yes, it was. It was a very political movie. It's very political.
And I am a very not political person.
It was a very political feminist movie. Okay. And I mean, I liked it. It was a good movie, right? Margot Robbie, definitely like a great reason to go see that movie.
She's great.
She's great. She has a really big personality. And
Shout
and then
out
Ryan Gosling was probably the best part of that movie, though.
I heard that
Ryan
as
Gosling.
well.
He was the best part. He was the funniest. Like, he had the best jokes.
I think I watched Andrew Schultz's podcast about them talking about it. That's where I heard.
He was just super funny, and you mind if I just spoil a couple things for you?
It's all good, yeah.
The best part about Ryan Gosling was when he went to like the real world and he found out about the patriarchy. Because in Barbie world, Barbie just does everything. She's the doctor. She's the the scuba diver, the surfer. She's everything. And then Ken's are just there, right? Because Ken's just there. And so when Ryan goes to the real world, he realizes, he's like, yeah, someone walked up to me and the women respected me. They even asked me what the time was. Like, and I was like, oh my God, that's funny. But I was like, gosh, like that's just such a. It was super political and like. And it was.
So what was the hidden meaning? Like the message you get when you leave the theater, is it like, because I know it was very feminist driven, but like,
it was just super feminist driven.
Was
the whole
it
story was
feminist driven? Or
no, it was just an overpowered feminist driven movie. I mean,
the point where it wasn't like enjoyable, or
it was just a little annoying.
Okay.
It was just a little annoying.
Kind of like Wonder Woman almost? Like,
no, not as bad as Wonder Woman was good. I mean, I felt like there wasn't too much.
I liked Wonder Woman too, but there was a lot of that.
There was, but Barbie like overdid it. Barbie really overdid it.
I wasn't a big fan of Wonder Woman in that sense.
To where, like, I mean, Barbie enters the real world and encounters this girl, and she's like, I'm Barbie. And she's just like, she was like, I should, aren't I the person that like, made you feel good about yourself because I could be a doctor or a lawyer or a surgeon or whatever. And the girl was like, no, like if anything, you just made us feel worse about ourselves, and because of, we're, you embarrass the female species, whatever. And like, she was like going off on Barbie about like how like Barbie was not all that it was all meant to be.
I think.
And it was just, I mean, I don't want to get too much into it.
That's so funny.
But it was just so bad. And then the whole trailer, you watched the trailer for it, right?
I don't even think I did.
You need to watch the trailer because the trailer has no hints about this whatsoever. The trailer just shows Barbie being like, I think in the trailer it just shows Barbie becoming like the evolution of Barbie, right? Because at first the world was just baby dolls and then they made Barbie, which was adult.
I have a good take on this.
And it just talked about like Barbie, like flying on her jet, flying on her spaceship, going to the human world. Will Ferrell was there because he was just like, Barbie's escaped. We have to get her. But then when it came to the actual movie, it was just all that feminist bullshit. Like just, it's not bullshit. It's understandable, but it was just overdriven. And I was like, if I had seen
I don't like movies with motives that are political.
Yeah, and I was like,
first thing.
I watched the movie and I was like, yeah, I would not have known from watching the trailer. I would not have thought that I would have been leaving the theater the way that I did.
So, with movies, what is the point of going to see a movie as a human? What's the point?
I'm looking for enjoyment. Like I'm looking for entertainment. I'm looking for enjoyment. I'm not looking to get a message.
You're looking at an escape, right?
It's just an escape. You want to see some fantasy. You want to see something.
So why would you go see a movie that has a motive that is super like? There are going to be a lot of people that agree with that motive. There are also going to be a lot of people that don't, and so half of those people you're already cutting off that won't enjoy it, right? You could, because it has a motive. And I'm not like calling out Barbie in particular. Lots of movies do this.
Lots of movies nowadays.
So many nowadays.
Yeah.
And if you watch movies like, let's just say, I don't even know, like 25 plus years ago, none of them. It was all for entertainment.
I mean, they had motives, like, like appreciate your life. Even blah, movies, blah, self-sacrifice, stuff like that, but never
not political is what I said.
Yeah.
Is what I said. Not a political motive.
Unless they were specifically kind of advertised as being like, this political drama.
But the point of the movie was to entertain people, was to give somebody an escape, was to show off their filming skills. It wasn't about, okay, we're in this spot where we can really push this onto somebody.
Yeah, I think
that's where it becomes brainwashing.
I think that's the difference right there is a lot of movies were kind of, they could be political in an aspect, but they weren't meant and made to push things on people. They were just entertainment, right? And while Barbie, I felt
because of the motive.
Because of the motive, yeah. And with Barbie, I felt like it was just made to push these ideals. Because, of course, what's the market for Barbie? Who plays with Barbies?
I didn't play with a Barbie.
Okay, kids play with Barbies, right? So kids are going to go see this Barbie movie, and then they're going to get this message just ingrained into their system about Barbie and these ideals that really aren't meant. Hollywood isn't or doesn't have the right to impose that on people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it should be left up to the people to decide if they want to follow that or not.
And at the end of the day, people are really good, especially with, I think, fast-paced social media. They're really good at reading people nowadays.
Dude, and in the end of the movie, like, Will Ferrell wasn't even a bad guy. From the trailer, he seems like the bad guy because he's like, we have to catch Barbie. We have to get her. We have to send her back to wherever. And then you watch the movie, and I was expecting Will Ferrell to be like the antagonist of the whole movie. And he was for like 5 minutes of the 2 hours. And then he was like the good guy at the very end. And I was like, that makes no sense. I was like, there needed to be some form of villain, but there really wasn't. The villain was feminism.
That's my exact point.
Yeah,
the whole point of the movie, from what I've heard, is just a motive.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. There's no, if you really look at the cast, look at what's happening in the plot, like it's just a motive.
It's just a motive. Like, that's all it was. And I found it very annoying. I was like, oh, come on. Like, I was hoping that this would just be a funny movie, I feel like that's comedy.
Another reason the Star Wars franchise really flops.
Oh, yeah.
Those 7, 8, 9. I was so annoyed. But that's just, a lot of times, it's who's paying. A lot of these people want motives pushed, and they have a lot of money. So it's
like the easiest way to really push a motive is through media.
Yeah.
Especially movies, when they get a super A-list superstar to play the main character or the main characters, and even the supporting character cast was on point. They were on fire. They were great. And that's like the easiest way.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I mean, I was annoyed with it. It was a good movie. I just had to look past all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't bad, but it was just like, okay, like, it was 2 hours long. And in my mind, I was like, this could have been like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, 2 hours, that was a stretch.
But overall, what would you do as your rankings of the movies? 1 to 10.
Rankings? I give Oppenheimer easily like a solid 9. I wouldn't give it a 10. I give it a solid 9.
I'm right there with you.
Just because I felt like in Oppenheimer there were
missing something, right?
It was kind of missing something, but also at the same point, it could have been a little shorter.
Oh yeah,
I felt like it could have been a little shorter. There could have
been many scenes,
like not by much, like 2.5 hours. It could have been. You know, I would have been very happy with that.
I agree.
Barbie, I'd give it a 4. I give it a low rating.
Wow.
I give it like a 4.
That's crazy. I've heard so many good things, like rating wise,
just because of their want to just push the motives out there. And if you see a Barbie movie, you think, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting, entertaining. And then you get there and like, hey, this wasn't really, it was kind of fun. It wasn't exciting.
So the point was,
it wasn't very entertaining.
The real people in the real world were mad at Barbie because of like,
no. So, I mean,
I'm confused with that.
The main story is Barbie is living her perfect life. All right. And one day, all of a sudden, she starts feeling like these like feelings of like death. Right. Which is freaking out everybody. And then the next day, all of a sudden, you know how Barbies have their toes pointed? Like there's
multiple Barbies.
There's like the whole there's Barbie world. There's like a ton of Barbies.
So one of them was messing up.
One of them, Margot Robbie's character, was messing up. And so then all of a sudden, you know how like Barbie feet are just like this on the toes, right? All of a sudden her feet went flat. And so she was freaking out about that. And then she was getting cellulite on her legs, right? So she didn't have like the perfect legs. She had like all the fat, you know, kind of developing on her legs. And so there's one crazy Barbie who's like, yes, so someone in the real world is playing with you, you know, and their feelings of insecurity and blah, blah, blah are reflecting on your doll, which is changing you in Barbie land. So she had to go to the real world to find this girl to like cheer her up, basically. That way she would go back to normal in Barbie world. does that make sense? And so she goes to this world, but then she finds out and she thinks that the real world is great because, all the commercials and all the ideologies of Barbie is, oh, we've made the world a better place. We've given women, rights and power and blah, blah, blah. Being Barbie, our influence has just done so much for the real world. And that's what they thought. But when she gets to the real world, she sees that it's a patriarchy, basically. Men rule the world. And that's where all this kind of crap comes in.
Yeah.
To where, the first half when it was just Barbie land, oh, I loved it. It was great. It was fun. It was entertaining. Yeah. But then once they introduced the real world and patriarchy and feminism and all that, then it just started getting like, okay, like this movie just took a left turn.
So the whole point was to show that how messed up the world is,
to show how messed up the world is, how it, how it should be.
That's crazy. So if this came out 10 years ago,
when Ken goes to the real world, right, he sees the patriarchy, and so he's like, oh, I have to go back and tell all the other Kens, because there's multiple Kens. There's Asian Ken, white Ken, other Ken.
That's awesome.
Dude, Michael Cera's character, he played a character in it, and he was by far the best. And I can't remember his name, but he wasn't a Ken. He was just another dude. He was like a Jim or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ken comes back to Barbie world, and then they take over. They turn Barbie land into a patriarchy, basically.
Oh my god.
Where the Kens take over and they like brainwash all the Barbies. It was all over the place, man. There's just so much to really cover, and I don't want to cover too much because I don't want this podcast to be that long.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot. I mean,
that's crazy.
List down in the comments or message us on social media what your favorite parts of Barbie were, if you've seen it, and what your favorite scene in Oppenheimer was.
Oppenheimer, I would give it a 9 as well. Easily. I would say I wouldn't get the 10 either, but when that bomb scene happened, that if it would have kept getting better from that point and kept getting like more and more of a better movie, it could have been on my top 5 movies all time. But yeah, it kind of started to get back to where it was at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was still really good. But the movie, it kind of felt like this. It didn't really feel like that.
Yeah. It kind of, I felt like it kind of went up and then it just plateaued.
Okay.
I didn't think it went back down. I think it just kind of plateaued, but it didn't plateau like late in the movie. I think it plateaued early on, like after like the first like hour and a half. I felt it plateau from there.
Early on, first hour and a half.
Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah. And so I think that's my thoughts on everything.
But yeah, I mean,
but it's funny. You have 2 movies. You have one that's a serious, kind of historical drama, documentary kind of style movie. And then you have Barbie, and both of them came out, I think, the same weekend,
same day,
or they came out the same day or something like that. And so that was a big thing, was which one are you going to go see first, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Barbie destroyed it.
Yeah, it did.
Out of the water, which makes I mean,
it's just because
it does make sense.
Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie.
It's kind of like YouTube nowadays. What are you going to click on? A factual like top 10 biggest bombs ever made, or are you going to click on
a hot girl in a miniskirt?
What's up, guys? Today, Mr. Beast type video.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, it makes sense why I destroyed it. But I think Barbie might get like an Oscar or a nomination for like costume design, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Oppenheimer is going to blow it out of the water.
Oh, everything's going to be Oppenheimer.
Everything's going to be Oppenheimer. Just the special effects. Score, everything was just.
The score, the special effects, the cinematography, like the visuals.
I think Avatar has a good.
I didn't see Avatar.
Has some good competition. It's on Disney Plus right now.
Oh.
But yeah, I watched it a few weeks back. But yeah, so. But yeah, guys, be sure to let us know which one was your favorite, Oppenheimer or Barbie, and we'll get back to y'all on that. Anything else you wanna add to the pod before we close out?
I think we're pretty good. I mean, maybe last few things, we had the National Card Show recently. So first, it's mainly sports cards, but they do Pokemon as well.
And Pokémon was there.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The little card shop in New Braunfels, they were there for the National.
Oh, really?
I saw on their story that they were there.
Yeah, no, it's biggest card show in the world, actually.
Is it in the world?
In the world. I was going to go.
Not just the nation?
Not just
Where's
the
it
nation. It's in Chicago / Cleveland. I think they have it at different venues every year. It changes, but this year I think it was in Chicago.
I think it was Chicago.
And they had, you know how they do trade nights after some card shows, where after the show you can stick around and like they'll give you some free food and they'll give you drinks, and then you basically get to trade with people. It's kind of like a on them kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, Chicago, this is the biggest national trade nights that have ever, like, in the history of sports cards. There was 5 separate trade nights that were all like larger than like some shows themselves after the show.
Oh wow.
So one of the show, or what's it called? One of the trade nights were like bigger than the Denver card show.
Wow.
I went to, which
That's
is nuts
insane
to think about. Wasn't even the actual national, so the national must have been massive. But I heard good things about it. Lots of big cards there. I saw a couple influencers bought some like 5-6 figure cards. Like it was nothing. I was like, oh my goodness.
I wish, right?
I know. But yeah, no, just wanted to highlight that just happened. So if y'all are interested in that content, check it out on, Card Collector 2's got some stuff, Sports Card Investor, Justin Gamble. Those are probably the top 3 guys to check out.
It's good to know.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I think that's going to end it for us. Thanks, guys, for joining in on the Barbie Oppenheimer podcast.
Oh, yeah. Who you got?
Yeah,
who you got in the fight? Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Dude, I want to see Ken just fight an atomic bomb, just punch it.
Have you seen the clips of Barbie or Barbenheimer?
No, I haven't.
The edits, the picture of it's like half Barbie, half Oppenheimer, and it's like a poster. If it was one movie,
I might have seen it.
I'll show you after the pod.
But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. Get some rest and peace out.
All right. See ya. Peace. Boom. Pretty good. Dude, the picture's so funny.
So what I'm gonna do is since you work tomorrow,